The Bachelor's Litia Garr says she found closure after being blindsided by Grant Ellis. May 10, 2025. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bachelor Nation News fans. The Bachelor's Litia Garr isn't licking her wounds anymore after she was blindsided by Grant Ellis, who chose Juliana Pasquarosa as his fiancée. The Bachelor season 29 ended with a shocking twist when Grant, who had been leaning heavily towards Litia all season, decided to choose Juliana instead. Grant and Juliana are still together and planning their wedding, but Litia, on the other hand, says she isn't reliving the past and got the closure she needed when the finale aired. Grant and Litia had a strong connection throughout the entire season. Grant had told Litia several times she was his #1 pick, and even told her mom midway through filming that they should stop the entire show because Grant was choosing Litia. Grant also told Litia he loved her, and yet, during the final rose ceremony, Grant stumbled through his words to Litia, telling her he wasn't her person and choosing Juliana instead. Litia told radio host she got the closure she needed after Grant's actions. Litia recently appeared on the Julia Cunningham show on Radio Andy on Sirius XM, and she and host Julia Cunningham discussed where she's at now that the dust has settled on her season of The Bachelor. Litia told Julia that she's doing great today and she's hopeful for the future, even though she'll always be known for her time on The Bachelor. Litia also shared that she doesn't need any closure from Grant, since she got all the closure she needed on that final day. I feel great today. I feel like I got the closure that I needed that day. That was a long conversation. It was a 45-minute conversation that we had there, and I said, everything that I said on the couch on the live show, I said it that day to him, and I was just like, if someone is capable of doing this to someone that they said they loved, I couldn't be with that person, and that's, no judgment to anyone else. Litia said after Grant blindsided her, she knew he wasn't the right kind of person for her. She didn't want to be with someone who could treat people that way. He'd spent months telling her she was the one, and at the last minute, switched to Juliana, which Litia said made it a lot easier for me to close the book on it and move on. The saying, their actions were the closure, comes to mind in this situation. Litia doesn't need to sit down with Grant and hash things out anymore. His actions at the end showed his true character, and that's all the closure Litia needs. Litia is proud of herself after the show. Litia seems to be in a healthy place now that her time on The Bachelor has ended. She doesn't have any anger or resentment towards Grant and Juliana, despite a few jabs from Juliana. In fact, Litia said that she can value her time with Grant for what it was, and she opened herself up in ways she didn't think she was capable of. I was just like, that was special, and it was a good time. I'm proud of myself for being myself and being vulnerable and opening up, and the end. On to the next. Litia's self-awareness surrounding her time on the show and her experiences with Grant prove she's out of his league. Litia is thoughtful with her words and doesn't bash in or Juliana, but she's firm in her self-worth. By saying that she's proud of herself for opening and being vulnerable on reality TV, it is the best possible outcome for Litia and shows she's learned lessons on the show and doesn't regret putting herself out there. Would Litia go on another reality show? After appearing on The Bachelor, contestants have a huge opportunity to parlay that appearance into other TV appearances, especially within the Bachelor/ABC franchise. Sadly, there won't be a new season of The Bachelorette this year, but going from The Bachelor to Bachelor in Paradise is a common pipeline for contestants. When asked if she'd be interested in Bachelor in Paradise, Litia said, "I'm open to it. I had a great experience. I think it's very new, and I had a great time. I loved everyone in production. Everyone at Hulu, ABC, Warner Brothers. Perhaps a spin around the dance floor on Dancing with the Stars could be in Litia's future." Litia said she's not a good dancer, but she has rhythm and is open to learning. Julia, from the Julia Cunningham show, said viewers love to see someone progress on DGTS, so Litia would be an ideal contestant. She earned so many fans, especially women who related to the things that happened between Grant and Litia, so showcasing her dancing skills would be an obvious next step. Litia Garr says she found closure after being blindsided by Grant Ellis. "I didn't think I'd get out of bed, but now I'm finally free." Those were the words Litia Garr shared in an emotional sit-down interview that left fans both speechless and rallying behind her. After months of silence and speculation, the Bachelor Season 29 runner-up has come forward with her truth, and it's even more heartbreaking and empowering than viewers imagined. We watched it unfold on national television, Litia, glowing in a white gown, standing at the proposal site with trembling hands and hopeful eyes. And then came the twist that Bachelor Nation never saw coming. Grant Ellis sent her home, choosing Juliana Pasquarosa instead. But the real drama? Litia says she was blindsided, completely, utterly, betrayed. Now, in a raw and revealing interview, Litia is finally ready to talk, and you won't believe what she had to say about the lead, the winner, and why she's no longer angry. Chapter 1. The betrayal nobody warned her about. To this day, I wish someone had just pulled me aside and said, "Litia, this isn't going to end the way you think." But nobody did. Litia says, her voice steady but eyes damp with the weight of memories. When Grant whispered, "I love you," during their final one-on-one, Litia thought she had it in the bag. "He gave me all the signs. He even cried when he talked about our future. So how was I supposed to know I'd walk away empty-handed?" She recalls the days leading up to the final, the reassurance, the hand-holding, the way Grant called her his safe place. But in a shocking twist, that safe place was nowhere near the final rose. Instead, it was Juliana Pasquarosa who walked away with the ring, while Litia was left to pick up the pieces of a dream she thought was real. And it hurt. Bad. Chapter 2. Life After the Rose. I had to unlearn loving him. The weeks following the final were, in her words, some of the darkest. I felt humiliated. I had to relive that heartbreak while the world watched me get rejected. It felt like the breakup never ended. Friends and family rallied around her, but Litia says even support couldn't erase the pit in her stomach. Especially once the season aired, and she watched the behind-the-scenes footage, the interviews, the secret glances between Grant and Juliana. It felt like I was watching a different relationship than the one I was in, she says. He told me I was the one, and then suddenly I wasn't even in the picture. Bachelor Nation fans took to social media with outrage. Hashtags like #JusticeForLitia and #GrantBlindsided trended for days. But what fans didn't know, Litia wasn't angry anymore. At least, not in the way they expected. Chapter 3. Closure came when I let go of the fantasy. In an unexpected twist, Litia says her healing didn't come from an apology from Grant, or even a confrontation with Juliana. It came from herself. I kept waiting for this huge moment, this reckoning where Grant would realize what he did and tell me he made a mistake, she admits. But that moment never came. And that silence? That was my closure. Instead of seeking revenge or playing the victim card, Litia disappeared from the public eye. She turned off social media, avoided Bachelor podcasts, and took what she calls a spiritual retreat. "No, I didn't go to Bali," she laughs, "but I did go inward." Litia started therapy, focused on her fitness, and even picked up journaling. She deleted old texts from Grant, unfollowed Bachelor pages, and slowly began the painful process of letting go. That relationship wasn't mine anymore. Maybe it never was. Chapter 4. The Letter She Never Sent Grant. In a surprising reveal, Litia shares that she once drafted a long, emotionally charged letter to Grant Ellis after filming ended. "I poured my heart into it," she admits. "I wanted him to know everything, how much he hurt me, how confused I felt, how betrayed I was. But she never sent it. I realized that sending it wouldn't give me the power back. It would only remind me of what I lost, so I burned it. Literally, I lit a match and watched it disappear. That was the first day she says she truly felt free. Chapter 5. Juliana reached out, but it was too late. In a plot twist no one expected, Litia reveals that Juliana Pasquarosa actually reached out to her post-show. It was a short message, something like, "I hope we can have peace. I appreciated it, but I didn't respond," Litia says. Why? Because peace doesn't require a conversation. It requires boundaries. While some fans suspected tension between the two women, especially after Litia seemed to throw subtle shade online, she says she holds no grudge. She won, she got him. But I got myself back. I think we both walked away with something. Chapter 6. Dating again. It's different this time. So is Litia dating? The answer is yes, but it's complicated. I'm not looking for a love story that fits a TV format anymore. I want something real. No producers, no pressure, no confessions at sunset. She's gone on a few dates, including with a guy she met at a coffee shop. Very normal, very refreshing, but says she's not rushing into anything. I'm building a relationship with myself first. The next guy I give my heart to is going to have to earn it in ways Grant never did. Chapter 7. Would she ever return to The Bachelor? Here's where things get spicy. When asked if she'd ever consider returning to the franchise, perhaps as the Bachelorette, Litia smiles coyly. I won't say never, she teases. But if I do come back, I'd do it my way. No more playing it safe, no more hoping the lead notices me. I am the lead. Bachelor Nation, take note. Litia Garr isn't just a former contestant anymore. She's a potential queen in the making. And with a fan base as strong as hers, ABC executives are surely watching. Chapter 8. What'd she tell Grant today? So what would Litia say to Grant Ellis if she saw him now? Her answer is short, poetic, devastating. I thank him. Why? Because in breaking my heart, he made room for something better. Me. Chapter 9. The internet reeks. She's the Bachelorette we deserve. As soon as her interview dropped, fans flooded social media with praise. Tweets like, Litia Garr just gave the most powerful post-show interview ever. She turned heartbreak into healing. Give her the Bachelorette throne. Grant who, Litia is the real winner. The comment section turned into a love fest. Even former contestants chimed in. Charity Lawson, so proud of Litia. True class. Katie Thurston, I see a future Bachelorette in this woman, just saying. Blake Moynes, Litia's strength is unmatched, much respect. Even Grant Ellis, who has largely stayed silent since the finale, reportedly liked a post praising Litia's grace. Whether that was a silent apology or just public relations damage control, no one knows. But one thing is clear, Litia isn't waiting around for validation anymore. Chapter 10. The future is hers. These days, Litia is focused on her career, her community, and a new charity initiative focused on helping women rebuild after public breakups. It's called the Rose Reset, she says proudly, because sometimes the rose doesn't bloom the way you expect, but that doesn't mean it's not beautiful. She's also teasing a possible book, detailing her Bachelor journey and what it taught her about love, loss, and radical self-acceptance. And yes, there's a podcast in the works. I want women to know they can move forward with their heads high, even after national heartbreak. Final words, I found closure, but more than that, I found me. As the interview winds down, Litia reflects on what she's learned. I used to think closure meant answers. Now I know it means peace. And peace isn't something you get from other people. It's something you give yourself. With those words, Litia Garr officially closes the door on her Bachelor chapter and opens a new one defined by healing, hope, and power. Grant Ellis may have blindsided her. But Litia, she walked away with more than a rose. She walked away with herself. And that, Bachelor Nation, is the ultimate win. Stay tuned, because if Litia Garr becomes the next Bachelorette, we're watching every single second.